they're going to go on the Shoals website. And then I've worked with, that's also my dad, the academic recruiters, so we're having an exhibit in Mann Library in the fall, and some of the media I created this summer will also go into Mann Library as part of the exhibit to show to other Cornell students about Shoals Green Lab. So that's something to add for next time.
But how are you going to know how it's working?
As in how many people we're reaching, or how many?
Yeah, how many people are reaching, if that, both the general public and the students, and like what is the end goal of these products, I guess?
To have more people learn about Shoals and Marine Lab and experience it either in real life or virtually. I imagine we would do so by perhaps looking at view counts on the videos.
Can you have a slide either at the beginning or at the end in which you identify potential user groups for each of these three products?
Such as like the high school training program.
More specific than high school. Are you talking New Hampshire? Are you talking about New England? Are you talking about national? And then I'm interested in public for the maps, I suppose, but just be more specific in terms of who's going to actually use this product.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine I'm about to a little undergrad.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned a scholarship.
Yes.
Can I apply for this scholarship? How does that work? You mentioned it. I don't know a lot.
I'm the first intern of this program, but the overall goal is that people who feel very strongly about their report, who have collected who have used real Shoals data, will then submit a report or poster, and then I imagine somebody will look at many posters and reports and decide on one that is really great and give that person a scholarship, a merit-based scholarship.
So your White Island video, there is a lot of downtime, I would say, that we're just watching the video.
Yes.
As someone that doesn't know explicitly what the Turn project is, it looked like a dog and some birds flying around. Providing some context while the music is going, while the video is going. It's been a huge endeavor over the last couple of decades that the Turn Restoration Project has developed, and letting people know that that's the case. Just a snippet even of why you're showing that video, right? It's like, it's cool, don't get me wrong, but it's like, I know the background, right? But knowing, depending on who your audience is, just a reminder, hey, this is the Turn Restoration Project, there were 0 turns on this island in whatever year it was, and now there's X number of turns nesting here because of the amazingly hard work of the folks that have been doing this for a long time. Simple as that, it's like, oh, that's really cool, that's amazing, and that's stuff that you're showing, as opposed to just, I think you need a little more than just the video letting it speak for itself.
Mm-hmm.
I like the video, but I'm disconnected because you have a big introduction about the Shoals and Marine Lab, right? And all of a sudden you fly over White Island. And people are going, well, what the heck, White Island? I thought we got Shoals. And yes, I know that Turn Project is one part of it, but we also need to have an equivalent, an equal part on Amphigo itself, which is the title stuff. So I guess what I would like to see is a very much shortened video of the turns, and complementary to that, a very shortened video of the intertitle that they have equal weight. And that will get back to your final slide and look at the user group and say, okay, you have high school students that can quantify bird behavior, and also high school students that can quantify the intertitle.
Can I make this, do we know, I can't remember the order, is he first or last, or?
Don't know. I don't know if I made it yet.
Alexa made, let me look, but so one thing that with that segment that might be nice, regardless if you're first or last, is.
We can request, I mean, what we say is what you can.
Yeah, there was already a schedule, but yeah, we can change it around, so maybe we can think about how you fit in, right?
I was also considering doing a video of some of their projects.
Well, so I think for that segment in particular, to put a little bit more context into it, is to have so you started that segment, you showed the YouTube screen capture where you could see multiple videos. Instead of doing that, why don't you make little photo bits or or screen captures of every single one you've done and put a little title to it. Parasite ecology, SEAL interns, it's like you made all these, right? And you can kind of, if you're the first one, you can say, me and all the other interns are doing this great science here. I was able to capture X, Y, and Z of each of these programs. Here's an example of with the terms or whichever, or the intertitle. So then, because then you can really see the scope of the work that you did and how you're linking what all these people, either they've already seen the talks or they haven't seen it yet. So it's kind of like an introduction. So I think you should definitely either start or cap off the entire thing.
That's a good point,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a good way to connect everything. And also it does put into perspective all the work you've done, because we have these 3 projects, but there are so many things that you obviously can't include, but I think that'd be a great way to really display the magnitude of work you've actually been able to do by
Yeah.
showing like a screenshot of every video, putting a little caption or title next to it. Yeah, and then you can click on one and it expands, and that's the video we watch or whatever.
Yeah. What do you think?
I like that better.
Yeah.
I just picked 4, but yeah, let's double it.
Yeah, show what you've done. Yeah.
You go back to the first slide, or the methods.
The methods, that was like sort of the storytelling.
Back, sorry. That, right. That
Why?
goal. How did you feel about having 1 or 2 bullets under each one of those categories? I know you went through each one and you said a lot of words, but that's a lot of words for people to be looking at one slide and then they think all the words.
Yeah.
If you had a couple of bullets, then you emphasize the key point of each one of those, people could be focusing on that and then hearing you speak about that. I don't know, how do you feel about that?
It's a toss-up. I think some people are better at listening than reading. Other people are better at reading than listening.
I think you definitely did a good job explaining each of them. If you were very thorough and you made a point to identify virtual, then Shoals, then why Marine.
Just to comment on Kyla's point, your talk is really for the listeners. It's like you have very limited for visual people, and especially since the goal has nothing to do with anything you're talking about on this slide, I was distracted. Just so that I'm very visual, I'm not auditory. So, like, I've seen your talk, but I was able to get distracted by the goal when you're on SML. So I missed your entire thing on the virtual.
Maybe here you,
So just like, something that's, I think the goal picture, as much as it's nice, I was distracted.
I think that's a pretty valid point. I mean, if your visuals are supposed to go with what you're talking about, then I can imagine having this be, and I'm just brainstorming, a photo, a 4 separated photo. What's there a photo of virtual? What is it? What's a picture of SML? That goes with SML. A picture of the ocean, and a picture of something that represents science, a quadrat or a measuring stick or something
Yeah.
that then goes along with each of those, as opposed to what he said. Yeah, it's a great picture, but it's not reinforcing explicitly what you're trying to do, right? I mean, sure, I would call this maybe marine science, it's a seagull and a ruler, right? But that doesn't get me to virtual or SML, right?
Yeah.
So that's everything, you want everything to dovetail into your point, and I think you made a good point that the picture doesn't necessarily go to those 4 elements of this slide.
So with that in mind, can we go forward and look at all the pictures you have on the slide?
That was perfect.
yeah, the one from Appledore.
Yeah, this was really good.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Of both. This
I like
works. We talked about. That was the.
And this is just a picture.
Assuming the video will work.
Right.
Because you have to open it, we'll figure that out later. And this is a 360 video. And here's the picture of the
I like
next.
this.
Next.
Could you click on one of those dots, just as an example for the audience, and then do a real quick 360 around so people can see what they're.
We probably could. I mean, it'd be the same thing with the video. It'd open up a new thing and it'd be like, which screen is what. But we could definitely do something.
So that was my question here as well. It's like, I don't know what this does for me. I see you took a lot of pictures on this, but I don't know what the end is this like a Google Drive when you can look and I can pan it and I can,
Go Street View, yeah.
like a street view? Is that what this translates into? Is a
Yes.
street
It is,
view
yeah.
across the whole thing? That's cool, right?
Click on
So that, but this doesn't portray that, right? And you're gonna have a technology issue, whether you can do it, that it's not clunky, that's, people are gonna go, I'm gonna start checking my email, cause it's gotta load,
Mhm.
right? So that's a concern that you're always gonna have, but that's the product of it, I think that's really cool. And the other question for me is, why? Why do we want that?
For bringing, so originally there were none of these, and one does not know what that looks like. One of the other products was creating an Esri story map, which was a 2D photo and some text. However, being constrained to one 2D photo doesn't show as much as a 360 photo. So in terms of, the goal of the story map was to simply have more information about shows.
And this
So-
you can also use to connect, it's like a class, high school, junior high kids that are working on data, virtual data collection from these islands, from these shoals, can now fly through and, you know, hike to their transect site if they wanted to, right? So you can also bring people.
So the three potential uses for the maps on one, nostalgia. Anybody who's been here will want to go back and see things, either in the short term or in the long term. Secondly, people who are just interested, you know, you capture somebody who's flying by on the internet. And thirdly, this could be a really big recruitment tool.
Big recruitment, please?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Plus, I want to show my parents this place, so.
Well, so that's a really great, I mean, if that's one of the reasons to have it, that's great, and let's make that. And so is there a science explicit to bring it to your classroom? How would you utilize that for a science
Well, I can also,
lecture?
what I didn't mention is that, right, this is T5, so one of the transect sites, the photo data is T5, so if you want to go visit your transect site, you can look around in 360.
So you can actually look at what the site looks like and the data. So I'm looking at the data and now I can go actually pull up what the site actually looks like. Oh, it's really steep, or it's on the back side, it's really got a lot of tide pools, or it doesn't. So now you can give a visual to the data, intertidal data that you have. So there's a really cool connection, right? So what are those connections from all of this, right? So make that real. Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
Right?
those 4 reasons there, and emphasize the last one. You might even want to make the transit a little different color and zoom in on that one for your example.
Right. I mean, I can imagine us as the interns, the intertidal ecology interns going, "Fuck, we want to utilize some of this for what we're doing." It's like you're likely gonna have really cool visuals that we can either borrow or utilize or think about, and how we like talk about, you know, the slope of the intertidal and what's the living there.
Yeah, if you could make a different color for each one of the known transits up there, and people can get that idea of, okay, these are transits of long standing, and then just zoom in on one and give a quick 360 and say how that can be used by people that are doing the actual work of it.
It gives it a concrete example, which I think will help folks see the utility of it.
All right, we have 1 more minute. Play through. I'm keeping us on track.
Methods.
That's really
I don't
cool.
know that you need to know, we need to have that.
That was just like this is what I did and this is how I did it. Yeah, that is not as informative as it is, this is what I was doing this summer.
You've got so much info that
Yeah.
if you need to cut somewhere, you could probably ditch this,
Yeah.
because you've got enough content that is interesting, that this is, yeah, it's good to know, but if someone really wants to know the details of how you did it and you need to do this stuff, then you can chat with them afterwards, right? Or they'll ask.
So you gotta cut
It's a nice
down
photo
time.
though. Just,
Just cut down time on video, and you can
Yeah.
do more with the maps with that time, and then get rid of this, you get some more time. What was the time?
We're at time, but let's.
One.
But in his
Oh,
talk,
his time, he was under, you were like 11.
so that's good. So there's plenty, yeah.
And
This
this is
was,
all the data sets, here's the takeaways, thank yous, and thank you.
yeah, it's-
with the virtual data sets, you can think about doing that same, like being more explicit with the products, like we talked about with the videos. Like there's the tern colony fish estimates, there's a transected, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think having a list of what those data sets are right in people's faces, like, oh, that's really
Next,
cool.
Right,
It's
next.
listed, these are
Yeah,
available.
sure.
Awesome, nicely done.
Very good.